Hey everyone, it's patch 3.21 Crucible, and it's time for another money making guide. So this is something I haven't made a video on, but I have praised up and down. I've done myself personally quite a lot on stream every season, and that is sextant rolling. Now, this is not something glamorous. It's not something that you're going to be having a lot of fun with. It's not something that you are going to be doing the most insane strategy with, but this will be profitable. This will be extremely profitable. What sextant rolling is a hideout warrior strategy where you're just going to sit here and you're essentially just going to be taking awakened sextants and you're going to be clicking them on your watchstones until you get something that's worth selling, and then you're going to be selling it to other people for profit. So why don't we talk about how to set this up? So the most important thing is in your Atlas tree, you are going to need enduring influence. That is the only requirement for this. If you have some other tree for some other setup, all you have to do is just respec 5 points anywhere. It doesn't really matter which 5 points. And then you simply just pick up the node. And then whenever you are done sextant rolling, you can just unallocate this, put your 5 points back wherever you are, and you can continue on with whatever strategy you're doing. The other requirement is you do need to have all 4 watchstones. The reason being is we're going to use 3 of them to block a bunch of bad mods, and then we're going to be rolling on one of them to get better odds on the rolls that we actually want to be selling to other people. Once you have your 4 watchstones and you have the Atlas node, all you really need to do is you just need to bulk buy a lot of awakened sextants from people. There's actually a few ways that you can do this. First one being just simply coming to bulk and putting for div rates that you want to buy awakened sextants, and simply just going through and buying every single one from all the people that are selling them. For example, this person. You simply just go through, message people, and realistically, with how much profits this makes, really don't care how much you are paying for these. All these are profitable. Even at 50C, even at 45C, whatever the price is, these will always be profitable for you to click no matter what. The reason being is this is the only way to get large amounts of sextants for strategies. And without people doing this, well, simply a lot of strategies that people like to use for mapping just don't work. And if the prices of sextants go up, well, then the price of the compasses are also going to go up. Otherwise, people won't sit here and click on sextants all day for profit. So ideally, unless there's massive market shock, the prices that you're going to be paying here are basically going to always make a profit. What you could try to do is to also look at the chaos rate as well and see if you can potentially get more. What I recommend to do here is maybe to set your minimum stock to 100 or so and see if these rates are good. But typically these rates are pretty bad. And typically the best way to buy them is for defines. Now, another thing you can do is you can also do it the opposite way. You can see how much people are willing to buy them for. So if we look at it this way, if I had awakened sextants, for example, and I wanted to sell them and I want to sell them for a divine, I could see that people are offering to give me a divine for 45. Or if we go look at the chaos rates, people are willing to pay about 4-ish chaos each. And what you could do is you can come to a public tab and simply take a chaos orb and take a divine orb and put them in here. And what you could do is you can set an exact price on them for awakened sextants. If we look at the current price, it seems like 4:1 is the ratio. So all I'd have to do is just type 1/4. And this would mean that I want to buy 1 awakened sextant per 4 chaos orbs that I give you. And if my currency tab was set to public, then suddenly people would see my 83 chaos orbs, as in the stock that people have, and then people would be messaging me to buy my awakened sextants. Ideally, if you do this, you want to be towards the top, because if you do a lower ratio over here, no one's going to be messaging you. For example, here, 11:3, no one's going to really see these. People are going to want to get the best rates. And in my opinion, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do 200 for 50, because there's not going to be many people who actually can sell you this many. I would probably just do 4:1 is the nice ratio. But if it wasn't nice like this, I would probably do, instead of 38:10, I would do 19:5 or something, the lowest possible denominator that you can get, simply so people can give you any amounts. Realistically, if you're setting up buy offers like this to buy them, you kind of want people to give them to you at whatever ratio you can, just because they're going to be going through these sextants so fast that you do need a massive influx of these. It's up to you if you want to do this. You can simply just sustain it by instead buying them yourself manually, but it is an option to also be looking for sellers to make your life a little bit easier. So let's get into the setup for how you would do this. First, we need to set up some blocking. A lot of the Sextants actually have tags, and if you put Sextants on here with specific tags, then that actually reduces the total pool of mods that can be rolled. And we want to put 3 potentially bad compasses on our void zones. That way we are blocking as much as we can for the 1 void zone we want to roll on. Typically what I do is I get 1 elemental type. So here we have player and monsters deal cold damage. This could be cold, this could be lightning, this can be fire, whatever you want. Then I like to get anything shrine related. We actually got lucky and got it pretty early, but Gloom Shrine, Restoring Shrine, any shrine effect works. And then I like to also get either chaos or physical, as they show up very often. And once we have that set up, once we have our 3 ideal blocks, what we would do is we would then roll on our main void zone. And all we're doing here is we just need to go to Kirac. We need to buy a few Severus compasses, as this is how we are going to essentially store our good mods. And then we just go at it, and we simply are just looking for things that are valuable. For example, Abyss is one of them. Now, there's going to be 2 types of compasses here. You're going to either have the filler ones like Abyss, where if we were to price check it, you can see if we look at chaos, ignore all the people who do Awaken Sextant. This is 5 chaos. Now, the Awaken Sextant itself was about 4 chaos. The Surveyor compasses are about 1 chaos. So if I were to store up this Abyss, this effectively pays for that 1 compass. So I got a free click. Think of it as a filler one. You're going to be getting a lot of these, and these are things that you sell in big bulk, just in a way to basically recoup your losses. You didn't gain any money here, but you didn't lose any money either. What we're looking for are the big ticket ones. Now, there are a few that are worth quite a lot of money, but a lot of them are anywhere between the 20 to 50 chaos range. Here's a good example, Mysterious Harbinger. This one is pretty expensive right now. It is around 22 chaos or so. So as you can see, we have profited quite a bit from that click. And if we were to go through and store some of the bad ones as we get them, we actually can recoup quite a lot of money. Now, how do you know which ones are worth selling and which ones are not worth selling? Well, a very easy way to do this is once you get something, you can actually just use Awakened PoE trade to price check your void zone. So I don't even need to store this. And I can see that Strongboxes is currently worth about 9 chaos or so. So I would bottle that up. In the description of the video, I will have a list of everything that is currently worth keeping. And you can feel free to either have it open on another monitor and look at it, or simply just go through and do some sextant rolling until you do figure out for yourself which ones are worth and which ones aren't. After you do this for a while, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's not that difficult to know which ones are worth selling and which ones aren't. And it's just something that you learn over time, or you can just simply use the list as well. Here's a good example of one that we actually want to keep, Conqueror Map. This is the most expensive one currently at 230 chaos. All right, so what do we do once we finish rolling all of our compasses? So in this example, I used about 110 compasses to roll for all of these ones that are worth selling. We have a few ways to go about actually dumping these and getting profits. The first being, we can simply just take them, put them in a tab and simply price check them and manually sell them like this. But this is tedious. This is going to feel awful, especially since you're going to have to do hundreds, if not thousands of compasses. And you can do around, I would say, 5,000 compasses per hour if you are pretty decent at compass rolling, which means you're going to have quite a lot of compasses that you're attempting to sell. So in my opinion, doing it that way is not really viable. Another option, which I call the degenerate strat, is you can take a lot of tabs. I mean, you're going to need a lot of tabs for this. And what you could do is just make them public, set a exact price on the tab, for example, 90 chaos or whatever, and then put all of the compasses in there that are worth that much. So for example, we'd have a tab for Chayula, or for example, Sacred Grove is currently 38C. We could make this tab maybe 35 chaos or so. And then in here, we could also put Legion or whatever else might also be worth about 35 chaos. And then this way we can have somewhat of an automated way of pricing them. But again, this is also kind of awful. But what else you could do instead of manually trading like that is actually use a website that was around since last season or so. And that is using PoE Stack. Now, what this is a mix between PoE Ninja and the bulk TFT tool. It's a really nice website. It allows you to kind of use it like excellence to where you can set up a profile of your character. And what it does is it will look at all of your stashes and it'll actually be able to be used exactly like how you can with excellence, to where you can set up a bunch of specific stashes and it'll look at everything in there. It'll tell you the price of it and it'll give you a really nice graph and some other useful data about it. You can also look at things related to the economy, the price they're doing, look at trends and whatnot, and also be able to look at your characters, look at their gear and so on and so forth. And you could do the same for other people as well. But the reason we are here is we are for the TFT bulk tool integration. Now, when you open up this website, there are a few steps that you have to go through to set this up. They'll be very nicely told at the top. All you have to do is just connect your PoE account, connect your Discord account so it knows who you are. And once all of that is set up, you are good to go to use it. So what we did here is I clicked on my compass tab out of the dropdown, which is where I have my compasses. And what this does is it just immediately picks out everything that is in that tab. Now, if I had multiple tabs picked, so for example, if I also included my currency stash in here and we click grab items, as you can see, it's going to pick absolutely everything that is in those tabs, including my Sextants. What I can then do is click on this and specifically click on compasses. And what that does is it just finds all the compasses and all of the tabs, no matter where they are. You can put these in any tabs you want. You'll find all of them. It'll very nicely price them for you, tell you what they are, and it'll show you a trend as well. And you can simply also choose to include or not include specific compasses if you want. Now, I used about 110 Awakened Sextants, and I was able to roll about 4 div worth of compasses out of it. So I doubled my money. What I could do here is I can set the price of how much I want to sell my compasses for. So for example, it's by default at 100% price. This is just the average value of the items on trade. I can sell them for a little bit cheaper if I want to. I could sell them for a little bit more if I want to. But let's just sell them at 100%. Once all this is set up, all I have to do is simply just click post to TFT. And what that does is if we go to TFT, if we go to the bulk compass want to sell section, we can see that the bot in half a second immediately posted all the compasses I have. It gave people a name to message and it lists the price of all of them. So if we were to look in chat, maybe immediately or after a few seconds, depending if our prices are good or not, typically people only message people who have a lot. For example, if I want to buy Yoon Sextants, I'd probably message this guy because he has 14 of them, rather than me who I have none. Or like if someone want to buy Abyss, nobody would really want 2. They'd probably want to find someone who has 9, for example. If we want to talk about the profitability of this, currently prices are a little bit volatile, but I would say on average, you are making anywhere between 1 to 2 chaos on average every time you click a Awakened Sextant on your Void Stone. Now that is not guaranteed profit per click, but that is the average profit that you make per Sextant that you use. The total money per hour you can make with this really varies depending on how fast you are. And that is the only bottleneck here is 1, getting enough Sextants, and 2, being able to click fast enough and being able to filter through all the mods into things that you want to actually store and sell. But for me personally, I can do anywhere around 7 to 8 divines an hour with this, but I have done this for quite a while now. And I'm not the fastest clicker, nor am I the fastest person at this. You could probably hit up to potentially 10 divines if you are insane at this. And I would say even if you're starting off, even if you're learning which mods are worth selling or not, you could probably still manage to hold around 5 to 6 div. Now, I do want to show you that people have been messaging me for those. I just have my whispers hidden, but as you can see, someone did message me for the strongboxes. And as you saw, people were trying to sell me some Sextants while I was recording this whole video. Either way, as I mentioned, this should be around 4 or 5 div an hour, even if you're learning. And this is a kind of interesting strategy because the better you get at it, the more money you get, since it's simply just down to how fast can you go. It's not the most glamorous strategy, but if you want to make quite a lot of money just sitting here in your hideout, if for some reason you have a build that doesn't really work and you need money, well, if you have a few div, you can just simply spend it all, buy some awakened sextants, roll some compasses, and sell them. And very quickly, you'll make quite a lot of profit. The nice thing is, this works all season. There is not a single point in the season where people do not want compasses for a strategy or another. So no matter if you're watching this now or if you're watching this in a week or a month, if your question is, does this work? Yes, it very much so works, and it's just as profitable. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And I also stream on Twitch. And that is all I have for this video. I hope you learned something new. If you enjoy sextant rolling, if this is something that you want to do if you're a hideout warrior, hope you have fun with it. It's a lot of money. If not, I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.